if you feel good about yourself from the inside out, that is only going to feed into the rest of your lifestyle. So, I mean, obviously what you put into your body matters, the micronutrients, the macronutrients. And I think health and wellness is just all encompassing. Like that includes your sleep and your hydration, your movement, your community involvement. Like all of these pieces kind of, they matter equally, and they all integrate into one another.
You're listening to the Black to Business podcast, an educational podcast providing Black entrepreneurs with the tools and resources to start and grow their businesses. We chat with vetted Black entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and business owners as they provide tips and resources to help take your business to the next level. I'm your host, Monique T. Marshall. You've likely heard the saying, when you look good, you feel good. But let's be honest, sometimes as entrepreneurs, it's hard to get into a healthy routine so that you can feel good. You're likely balancing multiple things in addition to your business, like family or work. So trust me, I get it. Well, today's guest is the definition of no excuse. Joining me today on the show is health and wellness expert, multiple business owner, wife, and mother of four, Alicia McKenzie. Today, we're discussing how to live a healthy lifestyle as a business owner and how to set realistic workout and nutritional goals. We also talk about how to start small and do what works for you and your schedule. So let's dive into it. So Alicia, welcome to the Black to Business podcast. I am so excited about today's episode. So welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So before we get into today's topic, I always like to have the guests introduce themselves for those who are not familiar with you. But if you could just tell the listeners a little bit about your story, how did you get where you are today, and what is it that you do in your business?
Oh gosh, how much time do we have?
We got a couple of minutes.
I have lived a lot of life in my 34 years on this planet, but my name is Alicia McKenzie. I am also known as Lift Like a Mother on social media. It's funny because a lot of people will know me as Lift Like a Mother and nobody actually knows my name. But I'm the founder and operator of McKenzie Enterprises, and I've created a digital premier coaching service that focuses on women's holistic health. But I also have a nonprofit called Amplify Health and Wellness, and it's a charitable foundation that's dedicated to empowering the underserved and underrepresented communities. So we really focus on creating health and wellness opportunities that are accessible to all. And I think one of the biggest issues in health and wellness and the BIPOC community is really access to healthy food, access to recreational space, and like the time to utilize both. So that's kind of my mission. Our most recent efforts, we did a 6-week business and marketing class, which was led by my community director. And it was focused on sharing knowledge and resources, which is also a big issue in the BIPOC community. Everybody has great ideas, but finding funding or just the marketing knowledge required to get something off the ground it's often not there. So we're kind of lending our resources in that aspect. And then I think my past, I was a former USAW, so USA weightlifter and a CrossFit athlete. Wow. And I have been in the fitness industry for over a decade. So I like to say that I've lived and breathed every facet of the industry, from cleaning the toilets to coaching people to acting as a mini therapist when somebody has a breakdown over like not being able to achieve their goals or just anything. I've kind of done it all. And I have 4 kids. I run a real estate investment company where we have a portfolio that's full of several properties that we use as rentals. What else?
That's an amazing story. I mean, that's good.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I have an interesting perspective because I've lived the reality of juggling multiple commitments. I mean, I'm a wife, a business owner, a mom, and I'm biracial. So it's not like it's been easy.
Yeah, certainly. And I think that's why you were the perfect person to discuss the topic that we're going to talk about today, which is how to live a healthy lifestyle, because you are balancing a lot and you're doing it while staying fit. And I know those who are listening are like, oh my God, I don't have time to eat healthy. I don't have time to go to the gym. So you are the definition of no excuse. So so that's what we should name this, like just no excuse. But that's why I really wanted you to be on the podcast to really just discuss your lifestyle, but also give people who are listening some advice on how we can, as entrepreneurs and Black business owners, live a healthy lifestyle. So, yes.
Yeah. So I found health and wellness. And like I started my fitness journey when I was relatively young. So I think 2008 was really when I like dove headfirst into it all. And I think my wellness journey and my entrepreneurial journey kind of followed a similar path. There was a lot of ups and downs. So I think I have the benefit of being able to kind of make the two integrate together before I started throwing in more children and more things to do. So I really think early adoption is like the most important thing that you can do. So if you're 18, 19 years old, like it's great. You don't have to work out. You don't have to eat right, but that is eventually going to catch up to you. So I think the sooner you get ahead of it, the sooner you adopt those healthy lifestyle habits, the easier it's going to be to maintain it. So,
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. I'm asking more so also these questions for myself because I am trying to get on that journey. But I first want to also ask you about, you discuss your health, your wellness journey. But also I feel like because a lot of people who are listening, they are balancing like entrepreneurship and they're like millennials or a little bit above that age. But I want to talk about why focusing on your diet and nutrition matters, even for your mental well-being, because this is, a lot of people are talking about mental wellness and mental health and things like
that. I always say that you look good, you feel good, you play good, you get paid good. Like that was always a saying that was in the back of my head when I was competing, which it's completely vapid, but it's true. But I think if you feel good about yourself from the inside out, that is only going to feed into the rest of your lifestyle. So, obviously what you put into your body matters, the micronutrients, the macronutrients. And I think health and wellness is just all encompassing. Like that includes your sleep and your hydration, your movement, your community involvement. Like all of these pieces kind of, they matter equally, and they all integrate into one another.
Yes. Well, you said that, and you also said something very interesting. I hear the other side of that, but I hear what you say as well. You say that the gym is not your therapist. Your therapist is your therapist. What? And let's talk about that, because I know some people are like, when I go to the gym, I want to alleviate the stress and clear my headspace. What do you mean by that?
So exercise is a stressor. It is 100% a stress-inducing activity. If you are already under ridiculous amounts of stress, whether it's environmental stress or emotional stress, or your hormones are all out of whack, adding more stress on top of that is not healthy. It's not. Like, I get that working out is therapeutic, and it can be therapeutic. It can be your time, but you also need to have an outlet when that doesn't work anymore. So let's say I'm so stressed, I'm going to go to the workout. I break my ankle. You can't work out anymore. How are you going to deal with your stress? And I only say that because I did break my ankle and I couldn't work out anymore. And
how did you deal?
I have a good therapist. I have been in therapy for the last 2 decades, and there is no shame in that.
Love it. So, like I said, the definition of no excuse. I bet people are listening like, oh my God. But it's so true. It's so true. I think I hear that a lot. And, sometimes I do think that just hearing you explain that, it makes sense. But I definitely want to talk about just having a workout plan also. Like, how many times a week should just say I'm someone who is not into my fitness, how many times a week should I be working out? And what does that look like starting small?
So a perfect example, I have a client and I started working with her, I want to say maybe like 2 or 3 months ago. She hated working out. She did not want to do it. She did not want to work it into her schedule. Like it was just a non-starter. We started with 5 minutes every day for 5 days. And then Saturday and Sunday was her break. And we did that for, I think, 3 or 4 weeks until it started to feel like less of a chore. And then from there, we progressed to 10 minutes. And now she's up to, I think she's up to like 3 45-minute walks a day and 2 strength workouts.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, you have to start somewhere. And if 5 minutes is all you can do, then do 5 minutes. I think the problem is people have these grandiose ideas that you have to work out for 3 hours a day, 6 days a week to be fit. Like that's not the case.
Yeah. Alicia, summer is here and people are saying, if I want to work out, I want this nice body, this workout that is intense workout that's going to give me this nice body. But you're saying start with just 5 minutes a day and then build it up.
Absolutely. The number one reason that people fail at trying to create new habits is because they try to take on too much all at once. You can't decide that you're going to go from the couch to running a marathon in 3 months. And you're going to have the best diet in the world and you're going to do all of this. Like, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. You have to start small and build up.
Yes, agreed. And let's talk about the power of creating healthy habits. Why do you think that's important and some advice on how people can begin to do that?
So I think the first thing people need to realize is that creating habits takes time. So I'm sure we've heard of all these like 30-day challenges and like we're going to lose 10 pounds in 14 days. Like none of that stuff works. It's sexy and it sells because people want to believe the ideal that they can lose 10 pounds in 14 days, like, and keep it off. But the rebound weight gain might actually be 15 pounds after you've lost that 10. So you should have just started with 5 pounds and done it in a reasonable amount of time and kept it off, right? Like the math is not working in your favor. So I think in order to create that healthy habit, you have to have a realistic goal. And like a good habit that I try to instill in people is putting water by their bed every night before they go to sleep. The first thing you do when you wake up is drink your water. Boom. You do that every day. And by 6 to 8 weeks, it will feel like second nature. So you start small. Like I think that's all of the studies have shown that starting small is the answer.
Yes. And Alicia, I know you work with clients. So what are some advice? I guess you also talked about creating those healthy habits, but also that people can begin to make it a lifestyle change so that they can see those results, whether it be their diet or, the exercise. Because I also want to talk about dieting and things like that.
I think I know when I work with my clients, we set the foundation and we set the goals. And if those goals seem to be not unachievable, but unrealistic, I think you're trying too aggressive. If those goals are too aggressive, then I kind of help people reframe those goals to make them more effective. So instead of saying, I want to lose 30 pounds in 12 weeks, I say, let's focus on eating more vegetables for the first 2 weeks, and then possibly moving into a diet phase to where we can lose 12 pounds in 6 to 8 weeks, and then maintain that for a little bit. And then I think focusing on just reframing those goals to make them not so hard. So I feel like people, they try to do too much. Stop doing too much. More is not always more.
Yes, I agree. It's because, we want those fast results, but like you said, not try to do too much. And that leads me to, because you offer custom workout plans. And I think that that's so great because people have to understand that it's not a one size fits all. That's what comes to mind when I see that. Do you think it's important to be aware of this and that creating a healthy lifestyle is not one size fits all, and why or why not?
Oh gosh, yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Like a lifestyle, it's not one size fits all. And I mean, my coaching varies greatly from person to person. Like I have had people come to me who were working out 10 times a week and eating at a deficit, which means eating less than they're supposed to be to lose weight. And like they were struggling and like they felt like they were failing all over the place. And I would coach somebody like that way different than I would coach somebody who has a pretty good handle on the health and wellness, just needs some accountability. So everything definitely varies from person to person. And I think like if you look at it, you also have access to different equipment. You have different work schedules, different motivation levels, stress levels. A client with no kids is going to have way more free time than a client with 3 kids. So I really, that definitely plays into how I program for people and the kind of program that we'll do together.
Yes. And what about some advice for those people, because you're a mother of 4, like you mentioned, and you're balancing entrepreneurship. But like you said, some people, their schedule may vary. What don't you recommend when it comes to them trying to figure out how to balance making time to work out and then managing a business? What don't you recommend in terms of, just getting started?
So I think if you are just getting started, find out what are your non-negotiables? Like what is the one goal that you want to accomplish? And then you have to back your way into it. So if that's creating a new morning routine that supports a 6 a.m. workout, or if that's taking a longer lunch break so you can get a 30-minute sweat session in, then figure out a way to jerry-rig your calendar to make it happen. I'm a big planner. I'm huge into time blocking. I have routines coming out of my ears to the point where it probably drives my family crazy. But there are certain things that I'm not willing to give up. And like my workouts are one of them. Like going golfing is one of them. Doing like virtual community meetups, that's like one of them. I think you just have to figure out what your goals are and then strategically integrate all of the things that you want to do together.
I love that. I love that golfing. I love it. Staying active. And that brought up a question I have for you, because some people say working out in the morning, it helps them get their day started. Which one do you recommend, or does it just depend on the person working out in the morning or the evening?
My recommendation is working out when you are going to consistently do it. So that's like, what's the best diet plan for you? That's one that you're going to stick to, right? It honestly, it all depends on the person. For me personally, I work out whenever I can fit it in. Like when I am in the thick of the school year, that was like 5 a.m. wake ups. I will do my workout. I will get some work done, and then I'll start getting kids up and ready for school. And now that it's summertime, I'm going to sleep till 7:30 and putz around the house and work out at 2 p.m. Like it really just depends on the person and on when you can stick to it.
I love that, when you can stick to it, because again, it's not a one size fits all. And let's talk about people who are ready to seek a professional. Like, when do you recommend someone do it on their own? And also, when do you recommend like going to get a professional to help them with their diets as well as their workout routines?
So if you are in a position where you feel like you have tried it all and you just can't figure it out, then that is when I recommend you bringing somebody in. So as I mentioned, like my one client, she said she was eating all the right things and doing all the right things and working out all of the time. And like, she just couldn't lose any of the weight. I came in and we cut her workouts in half. We upped her calories, and she is maintaining her weight. She's living a more realistic lifestyle, and she's happier for it. So I think if you are in a position where you just quite can't figure it out, might be time to bring in a little support.
Let's talk about my favorite thing, which is to eat. What is a good, I guess, a good diet? What entails a good diet? Just, throughout the day, because I know you help people plan their diets as well. And then I also want to talk about what are some mistakes that you see.
So first of all, I love food. I love food, all kinds of food. Like I love food. And I mean, so this is definitely a subject that is close to my heart.
Yes.
But when I was an athlete, I partnered with a company called Renaissance Periodization when they were really small. And Nick Shaw is the owner. He's an amazing human being. And he has played, or him and his company, they've played an integral role in my nutrition over the last 7 years. So I would say a diet plan that you're going to stick to is definitely the best one. I think RP has been with me for so long that I won't ever deviate from them. But it's also to the point where I know what I should be eating and I know what makes me feel good. And if you are having like stomach pain, or if you just your digestion is off, or just something just doesn't feel right, it might be time to look at the food that you're putting into your body. Do you possibly have a dairy allergy or a gluten intolerance or something? But I personally like to tell my clients to eat the more colors, the more colors, the better. So like your fruits and vegetables, your grains, your just anything that is colorful. That's kind of what you should be focusing on.
I find that sometimes when I eat, because I love breakfast, I'm a Southern girl, so we eat bacon, egg, and cheese. And, I've kind of let up a little bit, but breakfast, if I don't have breakfast, I'm not good. And I try the shakes with the fruit and the spinach, and sometimes I just don't feel full enough. What is happening?
That is all dependent on what you're eating for the rest of the day. So, I mean, I don't know. I can't tell you without really diving into your day-to-day nutrition. But I mean, I think if you're just eating a smoothie with like no protein and not adequate fat, it's not going to hold you over because that's what you're getting. If you're looking at the eggs, that is protein and fat. If you're looking at the bacon, that's a little bit more fat. But then you're throwing in like the biscuits or whatever, that's the carbohydrates. And that is going to keep you full longer than just a fruit smoothie with nothing else.
Yes. And what about the don'ts? Like, what are some dietary don'ts?
I don't have anything that is off limits.
Ooh.
Nothing. I believe that all food has a place in any diet. I think the problem is people go into a restrictive mode where they can't have sugar, they can't have grains, they can't have alcohol, they can't have any of the stuff that we like to eat, and they fall off hard because it's just unsustainable. So any sort of like elimination diet that cuts out all of the joy, like that's not a life worth living, in my opinion. I love cheese. And if I want to have some on my eggs, then I will. But that just means I'll skip the cheese on my burger later, right? It's just about making those intentional choices with what's going into your body.
Yeah. And I know some people, they'll eat like one meat a day, or that's how they'll do it. Like I know people that do that. So
yeah, whatever's going to work.
Yes. So one of the things I also want to talk about is your nonprofit and the things that you are doing with Amplify Health and Wellness, Inc. So talk to me about focusing on underrepresented communities when it comes to health and wellness. Why is that important to you?
When I first started on my healthy fitness and wellness journey, there were not a lot of people that looked like me. So in the CrossFit world or in the USAW world, it was very rare to see a Black or biracial woman competing or doing the things that I was doing within the sport. And granted, it was like years ago before it gained so much popularity, but it was very difficult not seeing somebody that looked like myself.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a comparison game. It's like, her body type is one way, my body type is a different way. So I think that the focus is because I want my girls to have people to look up to. So I'm very strategic about who I hire through my coaching company, but then also who is supporting my nonprofit. So if you look at our team, we have a very diverse team. We've got people from all walks of life. And I always say that diversity is easy, but inclusion is the hard part. Right? So you can hire someone and check a box, but do they have a seat at the table? And are you actually listening to what they're saying? So I think that's definitely the focus on just people who are underrepresented. And it's kind of, it's near and dear to my heart. Like I have 3 coaches that are on the Lift Like a Mother coaching staff. And these are definitely women that I would want my girls looking up to. So that's kind of how I'm doing things.
I love it. And there is a thing, like you say, there's a thing when it comes to like the poverty gap. And just your opinion, what do you think it's going to take, or what are some of the solutions that you think there should be or there are?
If I knew the answer to this question, I would have fixed it already.
Ooh, I love it. I love it. Get to work. Get to work. That's what it sounds like. We got to work.
We have work to do. And I think there are things that my nonprofit is focusing on, and that's definitely like access to fitness and wellness education and highlighting the importance of these things and definitely shining a light on the inequities. And we're really big on sharing resources. My husband and I have done a great job at creating a life that we have the resources and the capability to give back. So we're doing it. So if that means that somebody comes to me and says, I want to run an event for X, Y, and Z, but I can't afford A, B, and C. All right, girl, let's go. Send me an email. We'll get it done. Right. So it's definitely, I'm here to support the fight. I think a lot of the 2020 has shown a light on performative actions, and just highlighting Black and brown people is not the same thing as sharing your resources with them.
I so agree, because like you said, I feel like even with Black to Business, that's one of the things we work on is providing those resources, because people have the ideas. They just need the access to those resources, or like a central location to give them the tools that they need to win, like what you're doing. And I agree. It's so important.
Absolutely. And I have a great partner in Lululemon. I'm a Lululemon ambassador. And I definitely want to say, like, they've stepped up and they're like, whatever you need, like, we will do whatever we can to support it. I'm like, let's go. Let's get 20 yoga mats. Let's get 30 pairs of pants. Like, let's get it all. So
I can imagine that's how it is with you.
The allies are they're very strong that I've come into contact with.
And that's amazing. And what do you think, now that makes me think about it, because it seems that, I could tell based on your background and things like that, but you are that get action, get it done. Any advice to people who are looking to create something where they can create these strong partnerships, like you said, these allies? Like, do you think that's something within you or something you had to build?
I personally believe that I have suffered a lot of loss in my life, and somebody telling me no is not going to hurt my feelings anymore. Like I think I just have a very thick skin, and I'm not afraid to make the ask.
I think that's important. That's key. And Alicia, this has been so great, but I definitely want to know if someone wanted to work with you, like, what does that look like? Like, what do you help people? What would you be able to help if I came to you, do for someone?
So it really depends on what you're wanting to do. If it's the health and wellness space, you would go to my website, you would apply to work with a coach, you would choose your coach, we would meet and set up your goals, and then we would kind of dive in from there. If this is more of a business ask and you have no idea, let's say like you want to dive into the fitness world and you don't know where to get started, shoot me an email. Like, I have never ignored anybody.
Oh, that's amazing.
I'm that person. Like I just want to help as many people as I can. So if it's, as long as you're not asking me to give away all of my proprietary secrets, like I'm pretty much an open book. So yeah, I mean, just head to my website, find an email address and shoot it on and somebody will respond.
Love it. And one thing I wanted to mention is you've been doing this for years and you've been able to take your lifestyle and create a business out of this. Like any advice or how were you able to do that for those who are really passionate about something and considering turn it into a business or not?
I think the biggest thing that I struggle with is shiny object syndrome.
We all.
So I think if you have an idea and you feel in your bones that is the idea you want to go for, then you really need to write it down, set your vision, set your mission, and anything that deviates from either of those, you have to learn to ignore it. That's the number one. Like you have to put the blinders on and just go full bore into that one thing.
Yes. And any of your favorite tools or resources that have helped you as a business owner in your journey that you would recommend?
So in 2019, I was introduced to a network called Hey Mama. And it is a woman-owned networking group where it is full of so many amazing female entrepreneurs. It is one of the most supportive groups of women that I have ever been a part of. I joined in 2019 and it's just been one of the most life-changing experiences because you could ask any question in that group and somebody will answer you. I've found my accountant there. I've found one of my board members there. It is just such a strong group of brilliant entrepreneurial women. I recommend it to anybody that is, if you have children and you're female, you need to go join this group.
Yeah. And speaking of, because I think that's important because community matters. And I have to ask, I didn't ask before, but how is it for you to balance being a mother of four, a business and being a wife? How do you find balance or your day?
That term, I like to think that I have successfully integrated all of the pieces of my life together. So I really like to think of my life as like a puzzle. And they all fit and they all serve a purpose. And a part of that puzzle is my nanny. And a part of that puzzle is my mother. And my husband and I, we always make time for each other. That's just a non-negotiable. We've gone to couples counseling, or I like to call it couples coaching. When you need kind of that objective overview or somebody who's neutral.
Yeah.
So I really think that leaning on your village and not being afraid to ask for help is very important. I think the world has kind of made women and mothers feel like they just have to bear the brunt of the force, when really we don't. There's always, hell, if you need help, come talk to me. I'll babysit. I like babies.
Oh, to Alicia, and you're in DC. What's your address? What's the address? People are going to be wondering.
If you're in the area, and you want to meet up and talk business, great, let's do it. I think it's just, I truly believe in community. And I think that the pandemic has definitely opened up just the whole virtual world. I have close friends that would go to bat for me at any given time that are all over the country. So lean on your people, and just don't be shy about it. If you need help, ask.
Yes. And that shows up, like you said, people are so afraid to ask for help, and that's in life, in their personal lives, but also it shows up in business sometimes. So I think that's an important point to mention.
Big time, especially in business, because it's taken a while to get to this confidence level. It's been a lot of if somebody mentions something and I don't want to ask a question there, I will be on Google right on the other side, looking it up. So make sure you have a pen and paper, write it down if you don't know it, or ask somebody if you don't know it.
Love it. And any important or favorite reads, books?
Oh, goodness. There's so many. And I keep telling myself I'm going to stop buying books, and I keep buying them. I think I'm currently reading The 5 a.m. Club, which was a recommendation from a very good friend. And then a book that has kind of changed just how I view business was definitely Pillars of Wealth. And then The 4-Hour Work Week. And then for just like a fun read, Sorry I'm Late, I Didn't Want to Come, which is basically like an introvert's journey of saying yes to all the things she would usually say no to. It's a really good read.
Well, I have to check that one out. I love that title. Yeah, that is me. Sorry, I didn't want to come.
Exactly. You're like, oh man, I can't wait till the world opens up. But then you're like, hell, now I have to get ready and go out and all this shit.
That was the best excuse. COVID, I can't be around people now. You have no excuse, I guess.
You have no excuse. Get your ass on the plane.
Love it. Alicia, this has been wonderful. I really appreciate you for coming on the show. And I want to, I know you gave your website, but what are some other ways that people can connect with you, your social media, or where do you spend most of your time on social media? Which platform?
Oh, girl, I am all over the place on social media, but you could usually find me on Instagram at Lift Like a Mother. Those are that's my handle everywhere. Lift Like a Mother. It's trademarked.
Love it. Just in case you were wondering.
Just in case. Circa 2012. Yeah, but Lift Like a Mother on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. That's my website. Info at Lift Like a Mother if you want immediate response. If you hit Alicia at Lift Like a Mother, it might be a couple days because I'm slow. But other than that, yeah, I'm floating all over.
Love it. Which, because your Instagram is amazing and it is goals. You do live what you speak. And which platform is your favorite and why? Because there are so many things coming out. So which one do you love?
So I still think that Instagram is probably my favorite platform. And it's only because with the creation of like TikTok and Reels, my husband and I will sit and like watch Reels from this one, I think her name is Sheena Malari or something like that. And her husband is the real Indian dad. Like we'll sit there and watch that and just laugh our asses off for like 30 minutes. Like it's just, so I think Instagram might be my favorite.
Yes. I know TikTok. I was hoping that TikTok would go away, but I see it's not going away. I just made my account and go off, but I think it's going to be here to stay.
Twitter, unfortunately.
Yeah, and Twitter has revived itself. I thought Twitter was going to go away too, but it doesn't seem to be going anywhere.
Nope. And now you've got the introduction of what? Clubhouse?
You know, Clubhouse, I just made that account too, but I don't know. I'm still a little iffy about that. I have been in one room since last year. Yeah. One of, it's definitely, I don't know. I'm not keen on it yet. We'll see. Yeah. I'll give it some more time. Yeah, agreed. Well, this has been wonderful. Thank you for taking the time to be here. And I've learned a lot. I'm definitely I love that you said just 5 minutes a day, because I think I could start there. And I will feel very good about it. So
absolutely, 5 minutes, all you need.
Yes. So thank you, Alicia. And for everyone listening, until next time. This conversation was so inspirational because I don't know about you, but when I see business owners who have a crazy, successful wellness and workout routine, and they're still balancing thriving businesses, I'm like, how, Sway? But I love that Alicia shared her own story and lifestyle, but also that she stressed how important it is to just get started, even if that means starting small. I'm a true believer in that if we show up as our best selves each day, we can be better for our businesses. So I'm motivated, and I hope you are too. Let's prioritize getting healthy so that we can live and enjoy these wonderful businesses that we've created. Thank you so much for listening. And as always, you can find the resources mentioned in this episode at blacktobusiness.com/54. See you next week, same time, and you know the rest, same place.